Okay, this is Ringwalk Media in association with Well Eyes Therapy and Steel Hub Management. Really, really pleased to have on a busy week for him, Jay Byrne over in Dublin. Nice to see you, mate.
Johnny, how are you?
Uh, Busy, but probably not as busy as you, mate. You've got a lot going on this week, haven't you?
Yeah, we're nearly there now. A last minute show, as they say. First, but one that we kind of rushed in.
Well, listen, what we're going to do first, just see how you are, mate, because obviously newly retired, boxing career done. We were there on your final fight. What an amazing atmosphere. Great support came over from Ireland to see you. How's life been since the retirement?
Yeah, it's been good, yeah. Couple of holidays and just been kind of relaxing, enjoying myself. I would have liked them to be a bit more active in the gym, but just haven't got the time at work. And then obviously I entered the promotional and management game, and that's tied me up a little bit as well. So the free time I would have had, I'm kind of doing stuff for that. So yeah, I need to get myself back into the gym. But bar that, everything's good, yeah.
I mean, I know the feeling. I've just been away myself over to the States. I feel like I put about 2 stone on, mate. So, if that was possible. Well, listen, let's talk about the exciting new project. You've got now JB Promotions, your new promotions company. And I'll tell you what, you're going big. Announced 6 shows next year in Belfast and Dublin. But you've also got a new show this Friday over in Dublin. And I can't wait for this. It's got some cracking guys on there. Tell us about this show and the whole promotion.
Yeah, well, basically, it was always something I was planning on going into. When I retired, it was just when was the question. Um, and kind of just while like kind of was still kind of thinking boxing constantly in my head, I just said, let's start planning now. I did look at potentially putting a show on this year, but there was just no venues or nowhere available, and there had been a couple of shows booked in September in Dublin and things like that. So it was, it just didn't make sense to really sneak one in. I was trying to get a November one, trying to work it around Katie Taylor's because obviously that's going to be the main attraction in November. So I said it would have to be a few weeks previous to it or else going into December. But it just didn't look like it was going to happen. And then I got my dates all booked in for next year, done all my work on them, got the artwork done, stuff like that, start signing boxers and that. And then the couple of cancellations of shows in September in Dublin, I kind of just kind of felt like there was a lot of lads that I had trained with, like the Luke Keeler, Sen Kelly, Tony McLean. These lads had all been training and planning on fighting, and then to be let down, and there was nothing really looking like it was going to happen in Ireland this year, bar the Katie Taylor show. And I just said, I wonder if there any way I could sneak in and get one, for the lads. And then I
Mm.
found a venue, it was a smaller venue, and I just took a punt and said, yeah, let's have a go with it. So we're ready to go now. It's the weeks have flew in, and it's 1 week or less than a week away. We're this Friday night. We're kicking off in Dublin, so it's been fairly quick and fairly hectic to get everything arranged and done, and then being the first show as well. Obviously that would also have its own stress levels, but
Yeah.
the fact that we had to sneak it in such a short period of time, I feel we're good though. I feel we've done. I think everything is being done as best we could do it in the short space of time we had. I would have ideally liked to have ring canvases made and rope covers and things made, but it just wasn't feasible. The time, the deadline to get them in, to get them printed and things like that, and it just wasn't. It wasn't able to be done. So that's the only little downfall in my planning is the likes of that. But part of that, no, we're good. Yeah, everything looks like it's ready to go. All the opponents are locked in. They're booked flights and all are booked. Everything. There's no should be no issues with any of them now. They're all booked in, locked in, and approved by the board and that. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to it now.
Well, listen, we're looking forward to it as well. And you've got some cracking lads on the show. You mentioned there, of course, Senna Kelly, who you train with over with Peter Taylor. I
Yeah.
believe he's on the show. And just tell us about a few of the other lads as well.
Well, Luke Keeler comes back. Luke Keeler's last fight was in Miami against Dimitri Andrade for the world title, and
That's right.
Luke has been out for a couple of years, and he just feels he has a little bit of burn in his belly, and he needs to finish his career. So he's going to start with us on Friday night, making his comeback, and He's going in against the next opponent of mine. I might come back fighting April, Jiri Krupa, who's known to be tough. You know, he's a tough guy. He's a light heavy. Luke's a middleweight. You know, obviously he's only coming back, so the extra little bit of weight on him this time. But yeah, and a good fight for Luke. Senan Kelly. Senan's going in against Graven Mendoza. I'm sure you know him. He's based in London. He's a tough
that's
guy.
a good fight.
Yeah, like he's tough. He's, you know, I know he's had people would say, yeah, but he's lost in certain other fights. But if you look at his losses, he loses against top level guys. And if you're not tuned in, you know, it's a fight that will cause you problems. Senan has 5 fights, 5 wins. On BoxRec, he's ranked 720 or something. Graven is ranked 340th. So there's a reason why he's ranked 340th. So that's the reason why I made that fight, because I just think it's a fight for Senan. We ideally were looking around for Celtic title fights and opponents for Senan, but we made offers to 3 people and we couldn't get them across the line. So we just said, look, we need to get him an opponent that's going to help his rankings, and an opponent absolutely. I think he can beat. I think Senan beats him. I'd like Senan to beat him comfortably and make it look. Let him show his levels. You know, he's an opponent that's going to be in front of him. He's not going to run away like his last opponent and curl up into a ball when he hits him. This guy's going to stand there. He's going to want to. He's going to want to.
He's going to trade, isn't he?
What Senan is. Yeah, and that's what Senan is. So he needs to show his boxing, win well, and his rankings then will really come down to where I believe he should be. And I've no doubt that Senan will box in a title fight in his next fight under me, which will be February, most likely. Then we've got Tony McGlynn. Tony McGlynn's another one out of Pete's gym. Tony is out of the ring a couple of years as well. But the thing about Tony is, like, I think people forget Tony. Tony, to me, is one of Ireland's biggest stars. I think Tony has all the makings to be a superstar in Ireland. People might laugh at me about saying that, you know, think that you're only saying that. I genuinely think Tony is exceptional. I know Tony since he's a kid, since he's 14, 15, and he's always been excellent. Like, you know, it's just about getting the weight right with Tony, picking the right weight that suits him, and just somewhat protecting Tony to an extent where, when I say protect him, I mean Tony's attitude is, I'll fight anybody and I'll fight them now. So I just need to kind of hold Tony back a little bit at times, you know.
Didn't he fight last time? I think he was in Inverness. Is that right?
Yes, it was. Yeah, Gary Maguire.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
He's fighting. Yeah, look at he's in against a guy. People will look at the record again, like Mendoza, and say, sure, this lad doesn't. This lad's not offering an awful lot. It's a man, Lucas Barabas, but Lucas Barabas is one tough man.
Yeah,
like he's never been stopped. You know, he throws a wicked right hand. You know, if you're not on it, you're going to be punished by him. Like he's gone 6 rounds with Sean Noakes. He took a round off Sean Noakes, you know, which in theory probably meant he took a couple of rounds. I had him winning two rounds. I had him winning I think it was the 4th and the 5th round. Sean Noakes is, as we know, he's a 5-0. He's a 154 fighter. Tony's not a 154 fighter. Tony's a 140 fighter. So the difference, he was in with Jim Smith. I know Jim Smith was an excellent amateur over in the UK as well.
Very good.
They're the level of opponents that Barabas has mixed with. Tony hasn't been in the ring in 2 years. So again, like what I said about Senan, I picked opponents for reasons. I picked you know, it's very easy just to go to a matchmaker and say, here, match all of these. But, you know, there was a lot of matches that came to me and I said, no, I don't want them. I don't want that match. I don't want that match. They don't benefit, in my opinion, the fighter. And my job as a manager is not just to get the fighters fights. I need to get them certain fights. You know, don't get me wrong. If one of the opponents pulls out today or tomorrow, it's, Jesus, get me anybody, because you've got 2 days, 3 days. I understand that side of it. But for Senan's fight, there was 3 opponents put in front of me. Senan would have bowled over 2 of them, and one of them just didn't make sense. He wanted stupid money. It just didn't make sense. But this, I went looking for Mendoza, and I even committed to, I booked and paid his flights and all, whereas he had a fight booked in for Saturday against an 11-2 kid in the UK, and there was a chances there he may have been stopped, but I committed to getting the flights booked and getting him booked in, getting his hotels and all booked, because that was the opponent I wanted for Senan. The same with Tony. Tony's opponent. Tony's opponent is an opponent that if Tony gets him out of there, Sean Noakes couldn't get him out of there. You
Yeah.
know, they're like you're looking at that. Jim Smith couldn't get him out of there. These are 154 guys that couldn't get him out of there. So Tony's a 140 fighter. Now this fight is up at 148 or so, 147, 148. But because of Tony's first comeback fight, I'm not having Tony boiling down to championship weight for a comeback fight. So
No, it wouldn't do him any
again,
good.
it doesn't benefit him, and this is an opponent that if Tony's not switched on, it could be a banana skin for him. But I know it won't be. I know Tony will get in, and Tony will look good beating him. And who knows if Tony's to stop him, it's a statement and a half, and that's the reason why I picked these two opponents for the two lads. And the same with Luke.
I was going to say to you, knowing you a little bit and knowing your outlook, it sounds very much like you're doing what should be done. It's very frustrating for us in the media to go to shows and see nothing fights. And I understand late pullouts mean you just take anyone, but
yeah,
it's nice to see that you've got the best interests of those fighters and their emerging careers or the resurrections. It's nice to see that you're going to do it properly, because I think boxing is crying out for a promoter at this level to try and do that and not just put numbers on BoxRec.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, and it's, look, you could be talking to me on Friday night, and I could have my hands in my head saying I made a mess, I made a mistake, But again, I look at it and I say, Senan Kelly versus Graven Mendoza.
It's a great fight.
Mendoza is 300 ranking points ahead of Senan. Senan beats him. He should overtake him. He's 6-0. He's after being in against a tough guy. Next fight, Celtic title. Luke Keeler. Luke fought for world title in his last fight. Luke needs to just shake off cobwebs. Simple as that. So we could have just got some little fella that comes in, Luke hits him, he falls on the floor. We didn't. We looked for someone decent. And Pete had mentioned the guy I fought in Waterford and might come back, Jerry Krupa. I went looking for him. He's a lot more expensive than some of the lads that just fall on the floor. But we paid it because, again, Jerry Krupa, he's a reputable name. He's come to Dublin before. He's got a decision in Dublin before. It was a draw in Dublin before. He's been in with, I think one of the guys he was in with there in the last month was 25-0 in Germany, and he went the distance with him as well. He's a tough guy. So that's one for Luke to come back, and Luke should get his win and then move on straight away to up to 6 rounds or 8 rounds. Oisin Tracy, this is another one people are going to say this is crazy, but Oisin Tracy makes his debut, and I have Oisin Tracy in against Mikolaj Rabczak from Poland. Mikolaj Rabczak from Poland, 2 fights, 2 wins, 2 knockouts.
Yeah,
and Oisin's facing him in his debut. Why is Oisin facing him in his debut? Because I know Oisin's good enough to beat this guy. I know Oisin can beat this guy, and I know he can beat him looking good. How do I know? Because I've sparred him. I've been sparring him over the last few weeks. I've also had my brother Glenn sparring him. I've had Matthew Tyndall been sparring him. And I look at it and I say, Oisin can beat this guy, and he can look good beating this guy. What a debut. What GB star, Olympic star who signs for Matchroom gets in with a guy that's 2 fights, 2 wins, 2 knockouts? You don't see it.
Nope.
And I know Oisin is good enough to beat this guy. All Oisin has to do is turn up, be himself, and perform the way he performs in sparring. And it's going to be, in my opinion, the best debut in Irish boxing on the ground. Well, I haven't seen anybody in the last 5 or 10 years take on an opponent like that in the debut. And that's what I want for Oisin, because I've seen the sparring levels he's been doing. Matthew Tyndall, Matthew will box at 140, 135 to 140. He's going in, Matthew's young. I have to keep an eye on Matthew making his debut at a weight above. Matthew's coming in at 154 for his debut. Matthew's only boxed as an amateur. He's only boxed till he was 18, 19 as an amateur. So he hasn't traded with grown men, But so I got him I would say a tough enough opponent, Sylvester Zieva. He's 33 years of age, a tough Polish man coming in. And again, he's not coming to just make up the numbers,
No, it's a good learning fight, that one, isn't it?
Exactly, it is. And Matthew's a young kid. He's been out of the ring for a while. He's boxing, 10, 15 pounds 20 pounds above where he will be competing in that. So again, I can't afford to have a banana skin there. I need
No.
to make sure Matthew gets in, he does his thing. Height was important. You know, I didn't want Matthew going in against a 6'2", tall, awkward, make him look scruffy. He's going in against a guy that's 5'5", 5'6". He's a 33-year-old grown man. He's experienced over Matthew. So, you know, let's see how that one goes. And I've all the faith in the world that Matthew goes in and does the business against him. You know,
Yeah.
I don't see any issue with it at all. Then my brother Glenn, I know him. Like that's the only person I'm coaching at the minute. So with Glenn, you know, he has a bit of experience on the unlicensed semi-pro scene in the UK over the years. He hadn't fought in 4 or 5 years, and then he fought there in London a couple of months ago, and he had an excellent performance against a really come forward opponent. And we looked around and we were having a look at who we were going to put him in with, and I was going to put him in with Mikolaj, the fella who Ocean's fighting, and I just felt that was a better suited opponent for Ocean because Mikolaj is quite tall and skinny and dangly, and he can make a fight look ugly, whereas Ocean is 6'3", 6'4", so he's not gonna make Ocean look ugly. You get me? So that's the way I matched that one. Glenn's going in against Alan White. Alan White is an Irish guy. Alan made his debut last month, I think it was. He's a 160 to 165 opponent. However, he's coming down to 154 for this fight. He boxed your man Ben Burnham in Liverpool.
Yeah, in Liverpool.
He boxed him. From what I believe, he gave a good account of himself. Alan's the kind of guy that he'll win some, he'll lose some. He's coming to have a go. He's constantly coming. He wants to fight. He wants to fight regularly. He's a tough, fit guy. He's in the army, trains for a living. That's what he does. And another one that people could probably think is a banana skin. Like Alan has amateur experience as well. You know, he's a number of amateur fights as well. And Glenn doesn't. You know, Glenn's a couple of amateur fights, 2 or 3 amateur fights, and they were when he was 17 or 18. You know, you're talking 9-10 years ago. So to me, that's another big fight. He's going in against a fella that's naturally a weight bigger than him, who has more amateur experience than him, who's coming off the back of a loss on his debut, which nobody likes to lose, no matter, you know, what you're at. And I'm sure Alan's not going to want to lose in Ireland. So that's one that people probably say to Jesus, a debut. But it's my brother. I know him inside out. I know how he's boxing. I've watched him. I've sparred him. I've watched him spar him. I do all his pad work with him. I work with him 3 to 4 days a week. And I'm excited about him. I'm excited about his debut. I think I don't think he'll just win. I think he'll look good winning.
Well, listen, I mean, it's a great card, and there's a lot of good boxers on there. And like I said, I like the fact that you're matching those guys to the right opponents. It bodes for a fantastic night on Friday night, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the reaction is from the crowd and what your face is like afterwards. Because I know you'll either be, like you said, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but actually, I think probably you'll be saying that was the right thing to do, and we've made a great show here, and people are talking about this show. And when's the next one? I think that's the aim, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the plan. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't just match all these fighters and tell the fighters who were fighting them. I might manage the fighters, but every opponent that's on that list, I have ran past the boxers' coaches.
Of course.
I've sent them links to everybody with a couple of weeks in advance. I sent them links that look at how about this lad, and 1 or 2 come back and said no, not this lad, and then I sent them another one. They might have said no, not that lad. And then when I explained to them about why I was matching with this person or that person, and I sent them a link. You know, they all come back and approve them, because I won't just throw them into the deep end either. The only one that probably gets the raw deal is Glenn, because I'm not only his manager, his promoter, but I'm also his coach. So I ran Glenn's opponent past his coach, and he agreed as well.
So basically, you stitch your own brother up.
Yeah, basically. So, but no, look, another addition to the card as well. Only the other day, was Declan Geraghty.
Right.
Declan Geraghty he was let down for his Irish title with Owen O'Neill a couple of weeks ago, and he's just looking for he says it could be his last fight, so we've just got him a quick opponent. We only got him in there in the last 24 hours. Andrei Moravec I wouldn't be expecting Declan to have any hassles with Andre.
No.
Again, it's what I just said there. It was last minute. You just take what you have to, and that's what we've done there. We've just got him in, and we're happy to have Declan on the card to be able to facilitate a boxer who had put a camp in, lost weight. Deco had put an awful lot of work into losing weight. He had dropped an awful lot of weight over the camp, and then to be let down on the weighing scales was a bit upsetting to see. So when he just mentioned any availability, we had a slot there, and I put Declan on there. It's just a 4 round fight. It could be his last fight, or it could be just a ticking over fight. That'll be totally up to Declan. We don't manage or promote Declan. We're just looking after him because he's asked us. Just could we put him on the show?
Okay. So listen, mate. I mean, with your brother on there as well. I mean, it's an absolutely storming show for your very, very first show, and that's a big ask for any promoter that's experienced, let alone someone that's doing their first show. I mean, you're obviously going to, do this to the standards you're expecting yourself to deliver at.
Yeah, that's the exact reason why I've gone the road I've gone. Again, there will be some things on Friday night that I'll be kind of biting my tongue on and saying, I would have liked that a little bit better, but just the time wasn't with me on it. I really only had 5 weeks to turn this around.
Yeah.
It was tight, but yeah, no, it'll be. Let's look at expense hasn't been spared. I've spent money, where others wouldn't, just to make it that little bit special, for the fighters, and I feel, yeah, I'd like to box on it. Put it that way. From what we're doing, I would like to box on it. I think the arena,
are you
thing is
tempted?
really nice. No, mate, I don't want to box at super heavyweight.
Well, I'll
No,
tell you
but
what, you're talking about no expense spared, and you said that the venue's not that big, but it's a cracking place. It's the warehouse at the Red Cow
yeah, no, it
hotel
is.
there. It's a great place.
It's a lovely venue. Like the big 40-foot screen, right behind the ring.
Yeah.
The lighting, the stage, and everything is exceptional. So delighted to have that venue. Look, it looks like it's going to be a sellout. I think we're about 50 tickets off of being a sellout, and that's fight week. You're going to sell more tickets the week of the fight, the day of the weigh-in, etc., etc. So yeah, look, again, for me, it's not about making money. With every business, you have to grow the business. You can't build a house without foundations, and that's what this show is about. It's the first one just to get in, get out there, get the fighters in the ring, get them active. A big night for boxing, for Dublin boxing, in my opinion, because the negativity around it over the last few years, and then the couple of shows being cancelled for different reasons in September.
Yeah.
It just, once something negative happens in boxing, like for instance, them shows are cancelled in September, and there were reasons that may have been prevented, but there were nothing to do with the negative stuff that had been around boxing over the last few years in Dublin. But all of a sudden, that was being brought back up again. Boxing's on its knees in Dublin; they'll never take off. Blah blah blah. So for me, I just felt important, get in, get a show, make a night of entertainment for people. We have dancers opening the show. We've a couple of Irish dancers. We've a couple of hip hop dancers opening the show. And the halftime, then we're going to have a free raffle for everybody in attendance. And there's going to be tickets to Katie Taylor's fight for the winner of the raffle. And then again, you've got 3 young kids making their debut. You've Luke Keeler returning. You've got returns. You've got debutants. I just think it's an exciting night. It will be very noisy, even in the venue, just the way the venue is. And again, I just hope it's a start of something. It's, in my opinion, it's the start. It's a stepping stone of what hopefully will be the future of boxing in Dublin. There's other promoters doing shows in other counties and things like that, and I support them. I support them because it is a thankless job for 90% of people that do it. So again, I just hoping now we can get something going in Dublin, and we can work with all these other promoters and make matches amongst their lads with their lads for titles and things like that, and really make Irish boxing take off again, because it's needed. There's the talent is here. It's just we need someone to house it. And
well, that was a question I was going to ask you. Obviously, if your show goes very, very well, which I'm sure it will, you have got those small handful of promoters over in Ireland, and it would be good to see you all kind of working together to try and make better fights and better fights still. And I think you've come in at the right time because I think people are scared, not in a bad way, as in, they're going to get hurt, but scared as in, oh, should we do this? Should we not do this? What happens if it doesn't work? You're going, it's going to work. We're going to do this. And I like that. I think that's a great attitude.
Well, I just think if you go in with, look, don't get me wrong, we've had stumbling blocks. There's always people out there that want to see you fall. There's people
Of
out there that
course.
just don't want to see you do well, and people out there that want to try to throw spanners in the works. And we've had that. Everyone gets that, and we've had that over the last few weeks. And we've had ups and we've had downs, and we've had moments where we felt this isn't going to happen, even though we had done everything by the book. And
Yeah.
I will say, and I'd like it to be put on record, the boxing union have been absolutely brilliant to work with. They've helped in every step of the way. I know there's been, over the time, there's been negative talk about them and others, but to me, the boxing union have helped, like from the very first meeting to, I think I spoke to them on Thursday, and everything has been positive. They've helped in every way possible, and I just think that that's what's needed. And what you said there, other promoters, I'll work with any promoter because I've worked with most of them before on a boxing front. So why wouldn't I work with them on a business front? I trusted them to get me fights on their shows and things over the course of time. And yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about the promoters. It's about the boxers.
Yeah.
And you got to do what's best for the boxer. And what's best for the boxer is the best against the best when the time is right. And
Yeah.
you can't do that if I'm not going to work with this promoter and put the two boxers together because I don't want to work with him or I don't want to work with.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the only people that matter in this game for me is the boxers. I've been the boxer, and that's whatever's best for them. So if me and another promoter has a show and it makes sense for my fighter to fight his fighter on his show, so be it.
Yeah.
I won't be holding people ransom or at the end of the day, it's what works best for the boxer, and that's the way I am. That's the way I'm built, and that's all I want. I want to see the best for the boxers. Of course, I want to do well out of this down the road myself. I want to build this as a business. I want to
Yeah.
build on every business. Everyone that goes into business wants a business to be successful. I ain't doing this for 10 years for nothing. I have to be, I'm building something and hope and turn that in 2, 3 years' time. It will start generating and it will start becoming a bigger thing because that's every business is like that. You open it, you start a business, you always start at the bottom, you build your foundations and you go from there. But obviously, everyone's hope in it with any business is the business will progress and progress and progress and progress. And that's
Mm.
obviously what I want to do. But for now, my thing is build a foundation, get it off the ground. But no matter whether it's successful, whether it goes from there to there, or whether it goes there, at the end of the day, this doesn't happen without boxers. So therefore, the boxers are the most important people. So what makes sense to the boxers has to make sense to the promotion.
Yeah. You've taken the unusual move of announcing all of the shows next year already. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, my thinking behind that is, it was the same when I was in my earlier career. I give the boxers a date in November 3rd. They fight. They don't know when their next fight is. So off they go. Don't know when they're fighting. They're
Mm.
eating, they're drinking, they're partying, they're whatever. They're booking all their holidays for next year and they're doing all what they have to do. And then they just don't know when they're going to fight. So you ring them, oh, yeah, I have a date. We're going to run a show in 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever like that. Oh, yeah, grand, I'll go into camp. And then when that fight's over, it's the exact same again.
Mm.
That's not the way a career should be. Remember, these are professional athletes that are planning on building careers. You can't have a career when you don't know when you're going to work. So my opinion, my way of doing things was announce the dates. So I can sit with, say, for instance, Tony McGlynn.
Yeah.
Tony fights November 3rd. He has his comeback fight, 4-round fight. My next plan for Tony would be February. Tony fights a 6-rounder.
Yeah.
April, maybe another 6-rounder. He's away in May already. We know that. His next fight then in July, I will be aiming for a Celtic title. Tony knows all this. So he has a plan, he has a roadmap. So what's Tony going to do now? He's going to stay in the gym, he's going to stay training because he knows his roadmap. Another one, Eddie Tracy. Eddie Tracy gave up boxing last year, a year and a half ago or so. He was getting fed up with inactivity and not being kept busy and the whole lot. So Eddie's coming back. But I think Eddie's 4-0, if I remember correctly, 4 or 5-0. Eddie wants to come back. He wants to go straight in the mix. Eddie's another one like Tony. He wants to fight everybody and anybody. So Eddie will come back in February. He'll have his comeback fight 4 rounds. April, he'll have a 6-rounder. And I would hope that Eddie will fight for a Celtic title at the end of May in Dublin. And please God, he comes good out of that. And we aim towards heading towards the end of the year. In the last show of the year, I would like to have Eddie in an Irish title fight. And Eddie will probably walk away then.
So they've got some structure.
The tougher comeback. They've got a roadmap. They know exactly wider boxing and wider boxing. You can be assured Eddie Hearn might not announce all the shows for the year up front. But when he sits down with a fighter, to sign a fighter or something, he's giving him and telling him, look, you're going to fight in February, you're going to fight in May, we're going to get you back out in July, and you'll fight then in August, or with him at the minute he's telling people, look, you'll fight in the UK in this month, you'll go to America in that month, or and that. So you have to set roadmaps for people. How many fighters do we know? You just don't know when the next fight is. How can you be a fan of someone when you just don't know when they're going to be fighting? Are they going to be fighting? Are you fighting this month? Are you fighting next month? Do you know when you're going to be fighting? Instead, these lads know, oh yeah, I'm fighting this month. And as well, again, so they're not missing fights. They know the dates for next year.
Yeah.
So they know when the best would be to book the holidays and things like that.
It's quite funny, actually. You say that you mentioned Eddie Hearn there, that he doesn't normally release them. 2 days after you announced all of next year's fights, he released the rest of this year's fights. I'm like, oh, he's been listening to our friend Jay. He's been listening to.
No, but I just think again, but even to the likes of a watching audience. Now we're only starting out and we're only small, but I've said it from day one. I want people to go to the show on Friday, and I want them to enjoy the night's entertainment and just really enjoy the night. Like at a meeting in the morning with the DJ to go through what way I want things done for the night. I have a meeting with the media guy tomorrow, and I have to go through certain things I want on the screen. I had a media guy, but he let me down, so I had to get another guy.
He might not have let you down yet, but you never know.
Well, this is the media guy in the venue that looks after all the screens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I have to meet them just to go through everything. But I want to, again, we're going to do the raffles and things like that, free raffles, and we're going to have a bit of entertainment starting off the show, the dancers and things. And to me, it's about entertainment. It's not about one lad sells a ticket and they only come to watch him, because then it's not fair on the other guys that didn't sell a massive amount of tickets or are on at the end of the night and 4 of the lads are gone. So another thing I won't be doing is I won't be announcing the fight card early in the week.
No,
because I want everyone there for opening doors. I want the place full for the first fight, second fight, third fight. I don't want Jay is not fighting until I'm not in till second last, lads. I'll be on about 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and then my crowd don't arrive till 8:30, 9, and I've sold 150 tickets.
Frank Warren used to do that.
Yeah, well, you know what? I wouldn't have thought of doing it that way. Only for the show that Glenn fought on in the London a couple of months ago, when we went over there, I said to the promoter, who's a good friend of mine, I said, expect them many. He goes, yeah, I sold 800 tickets. I was like, geez, very good. I said, but it's a long show. And he goes, yeah, start at 2 o'clock in the day, and it won't be over till like 8 or 9. I was like, fucking hell, man, that's a long day. And he goes, yeah, there's 25 fights or something. I was like, Jesus. And I said, so I'll probably be empty when Glenn fights, will it? Because he was on early because we had to get back to the airport and things like that. And he goes, no, he says, I don't do at least a fight card until the morning of the fight, the day of the show. And I was like, he says, there'll be queues around the block or opening the doors at 2 o'clock. Glenn fought at 3:30. There was about 650 people into this.
Brilliant.
And that to me, like, that's why it's about entertainment. I want people to come, I want them to enjoy their night. I want the music to be good. I want, as I said, a little bit of small entertainment. Again, last minute we just got in a few dancers to do a little bit of an open show. We were hoping to have Al Foran do the voice impersonations on the halftime, but he's actually doing an Andy Cole gig on Friday.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a fan base around our shows, not just an individual. Well, therefore, I want people to leave it and say that it's a great night's entertainment. That was a brilliant night. I can't wait for the next one. That's what I want.
Well, I'll tell you what else. I'm very excited for you. I don't know how you've got it past the missus. You've managed to get the Matchroom Ring Girls as well from Memo Management on. I think you've got
Yes,
Evie Grace Wilder and Hayley Griffin coming over
we
to do
do.
your
Yeah,
first show. That's amazing, mate.
yeah. We touched base. Well, a good friend of mine gave me their contacts.
I wonder who that could have been.
So we arranged that, and Louise has arranged their attire for the night. So it's in at the printers at the minute, getting their branding put on it. So the girls actually coming over. They were actually, I think it's worked out well for them because they were looking at doing a bit of a hosting a demo day or a trial day in Ireland,
Yeah.
and I actually have the ring being set up the day before. So on the day of the show, I told them they can do their trial or demo day, whatever it is, in the venue, in the ring, because it'll all be set up.
Oh,
So
that's
they're
brilliant.
actually coming over and they're going to be, I think, maybe interviewing or what way you call it, but they're going to be trialing or other Dublin girls while they're here and doing all that while they're here and then working the show that night as well. So I think it's worked out well for both of us.
It's good, and it brings a touch of class as well because it's the
They're the best in
small
the business.
things that makes a difference, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like we could have, there's expenses that could be spared in a lot of departments, but they're the little things that I look at when I go to a show and say, why did you do that? Or I should have done it, and there's just little things. No disrespect to the other people that do the job, but I think the girls are known to be the best in the business now at this stage. And
100%.
again, I wanted to have the best in the business, and again, it's a small stepping stone to where I want to be and where I want to go. And I feel we've done really well with this one, and I really hope that this is the platform that we're going to be moving in the right direction.
And fair play to Kaylee at Memo. She understands this is a new project, and I know she's kind of invested a little bit as well, not monetary wise, but with her time and her expertise. It's nice that she believes in what you want to do.
Yeah, well, that's it. And they said they've been trying to get into the Irish market, and that's that's look again to get one show now and the guarantee it's six next year. So
Yeah.
it's good for them, and then they're going to do their demo thing, and I'm sure other promoters now will see it, and I'm sure they'll get more business out of it. And that's what it's all about.
But it's a great. I mean, I'm really excited, and I am definitely going to try and come over. I've got a few issues with flights and times. That's the only reason why I haven't committed. But it's not, you say, it's not about us; it's about the boxers. But I really want to be there because I think, first of all, I want to see you running around like a headless chicken because I know that you're such a
I've already
perfectionist.
said it. I've already said it. I'm not moving on Friday night. I'm sitting down.
That won't happen.
Well, I will have it. I said that
Um,
now.
And I've heard you've got a few of the lads coming over as well. A few of the lads from the gyms and stuff. All the boys are coming over to support you. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a few coming in.
Yeah. So it's nice to have some of your boxing world sort of from your past. As a boxer coming to support you as well. And like you say, this could be the start of Dublin boxing being back to where it needs to be because every time I come over to Ireland, whether it's Belfast or whether it's Dublin or anywhere else in Ireland, we have a great time. The people are amazing. The boxing fights are always very, very good, and people love it.
But that's it. It's, again, look, there's been so much negativity around it, and everyone knows that. But it's gone. It's time to really just put the heads down now. Everyone work together. Again, this is a new generation, and it's cool. Like it's an honor to have Luke on the bill. He's
Yeah,
like not many people in Ireland fight for world title.
exactly.
I know Katie Taylor did, but Luke is the last person to fight for world title, and he's like the forgotten man. But to have him on the show with the three debutants, I think is it's great because they can just look up at him, and that's a guy that went and won a Celtic title. He won an Irish title. He won a European title,
Yeah,
and he fought for the world title on the top stage in Miami, in America.
yeah,
Against Dimitri Andrade on the zone. Like you don't get to a higher platform, but he done it the way we want all of these kids to do it. Start off, gradually build up, get your Celtic title, get your Irish title, go for the European title, and hopefully someday one, if not more, will get to that level where they get to achieve the fight for the world title. That's every boxer's dream. But I
yeah.
just
Of
think to have
course,
Luke on it, he's like, you know, he's done it
this
exactly
is
the
the
way it should be done.
inspiration, isn't it?
That's it, and and I know some of the lads they've already said to me. Some of the young lads have said it to me, and all they can't believe they're on the card with Luke, and they can't believe Luke's on the card and all like that. And Luke's like you've met Luke. Luke is just a down to earth guy. Like he's been a pleasure to deal with through the whole promotion. Like, I'm talking to them all the time because I'm sending them. I'll probably wreck their head because I have a little just the broadcast made with them, and I'm constantly hammering them for promo clips. I'm hammering them for facts for stuff because I'm getting programs done for the night of the show. So I'm getting like I want the facts for the program, or I want their promo clips. I want to know their ticket out, how they're getting on with their tickets. I'm always on to them, But Lucas just come back with everything, very professional. And the younger lads are the same, though. I have to say, like there's really not been many problems, it's been a dream to work with these lads, And there's more. There's other lads we've signed that just haven't they're not ready to make the debut yet. But we have another crop ready to go. I think it's going to be a bright period for Irish boxing. We just need people to get on board, forget the negativity around boxing, start thinking positive. You think negative, you get negative. You think positive, you get positive, and that's what we just need. We need everybody on board. Anyone that's a boxing fan, get on board. Support these new up and coming lads because Eddie Hearn doesn't want them. Frank Warren doesn't want them. They don't join our top amateurs in Ireland. You barely ever see it. There's a few lads that got signed by the bigger promoters, but they had to be 10, 12, 13 and 0 before they got signed. So let's go build these boys up, get our country behind them, support the boxers now the way we support the rugby, the way we support the football, etc. And who knows where we'll be in 3 years?
Well, I've got one last question for you. Women's boxing is in the last 24 months has just taken off massively. Where do you sit with the Irish version of women's boxing? Because I must admit, I'll be the first person to say I don't know whether there's a crop of females coming through. Is it something that you look to put on your shows going forwards, or are they simply not there?
I'll be bold and say Irish women's boxing is better than anywhere in the world. Katie Taylor's Irish.
Of course.
Kelly Harrington. Kelly Harrington is an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Amy Broadhurst, a superstar.
I think I was more referring to people who are just about to start their careers.
This isn't just about the women, Johnny. There's a lot of excellent amateurs. There's a lot of other excellent amateurs I didn't mention there. Michaela Walsh, there's a girl, Shauna Brown, I think her name is. She's just gone pro over in the UK. With Robbie Murphy. She's supposed to be an excellent talent. But you have to remember, Johnny, I just said it to you. Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Wasserman, do not touch any of the Irish amateurs. Like, bar NTK, who has signed an Irish boxer in the last, few years? Nobody. And that's the thing. Like, there's no one there that signs Irish amateur boxers, whether it be female or whether it be male. Unless you're an established pro, clearly standing out in the crowd, well then a Matchroom or Frank Warren or someone will jump on and sign it. But without that, no one's been signing them. So have we got amateur boxers over here? Women, we have. The Irish women's amateur team is phenomenal.
So do you think that what I was probably getting at, but not wording it very well, was you've got 6 shows next year. Do you think during that time there'll be an opportunity for maybe you to get some of the Irish girls onto your shows?
100%. See, you have to remember now the boxing has gone to the Olympics.
Yeah, of course.
In December, I believe.
Yeah.
In Ireland. Once they're over, well, in my opinion, I think there's a lot of amateur boxers that are going to be just sitting, looking, going, where do I go now?
Yeah.
Do I just sit around and wait for the elite next year? What do I get for winning the elite? Okay, it's a phenomenal achievement to win an Irish elite title.
Of course.
There's no Olympics anymore for them, and that's what all the top level amateurs hang on for. That's gone now. So if you have regular activity on the ground in Ireland, would that turn your eye? I'm sure it will for some, and then there's some that won't be interested in. But that's what I'm saying. If we can get the support of the country on board and get everybody support, and not just local fans, but get the media on board, and we can get everybody on board, make a lot of noise on the ground. We're active, we're making shows, we're busy. Who's to say we won't be rolling off world champions? Because it can happen. There is there is the talent in this country. There's just nowhere for them to go at the minute, and I feel that we have a platform being made now, and that we got the right support from the right people supporting it, the right media support, maybe an RTE or a TG4 or someone like that on board. Between all the promoters in Ireland, we could be onto a big thing here, and we could start building up. And then we won't be relying on the likes of Eddie Hearn or the likes of Frank Warren to come over to Ireland once in a blue moon and put on a show, and the whole country comes to a standstill to go to that show because it's something that doesn't happen that often. We should be able to put on shows like that in a course of time when we build up the fighters to a certain level. That's what I think, and that's my belief, and I think that definitely is an achievable target.
Well, I'm very excited for you, mate, because I know you as a boxer and as a person, and nobody would be more pleased to see you succeed. You and your family have always been very decent towards us, and we enjoy your company. And I know how much you desperately want this to work. You know, your heart is in it for the right reasons, and the beginning is only just beginning, as they say.
Yeah, that's it. It is, and it's a name of the show, which I think is very fitting, because I do believe this is the beginning. And again, it's, you know, I have a team with me, working with me. I'm not on my own. I might be the promoter, but I have a team. You know Butch. You've met Butch.
What could go wrong if you got Butch and those guys?
Butch hasn't got a great success rate. Let's just say that.
Most in what?
Butch is involved. Most shows Butch is involved, it gets cancelled. But we've got Butch is involved on the ground, you know, and Aaron Dunn, another a great guy. He come on as like a main sponsor, but he also is a great businessman. He's working with me in the background. And then Ian Cochran does a lot for me. He's a lot of contact in the media from the time when he worked in the media, and he's doing all that. So the people, you know, I might be the face of the thing. I might be the man who talks on the microphones and the whole lot, but there's a team behind me. My wife is working in the background, you know, as I said earlier on, she ordered the gear in and stuff like that. She ordered in things for the press conference, the things I might forget either. So it's not just me on my own.
It's a great team effort.
Team underneath there, just making sure everything's being done, all the dots are being joined and that. So, you know, it is a team effort, and you know, I feel honoured to have the chance to work with all these people to make this happen, and then the boxers have been trained to work with. So again, I think it's a nice little group now, and again, it's just little building blocks all the time.
Yeah. Well, listen, coming towards the end of the time, but I know you've got a couple of sponsors that have helped out massively with this show. Just give them a little bit of a mention, mate.
Yeah, Aaron Dunn of Talme, GM Carpentry and Construction, Blanchardstown 4x4, and Park Vale Buses. The four of them have jumped on and helped us out. Toughwear have been a great help to us. They sponsored some of the fighters. My first 3 signings, they sponsored the first 3 signings, which the lads' gloves and for camp and for the fight night. They've also sponsored the gloves for the fight night. It was a great thing to get off them, because the gloves are phenomenal. They sponsored my gloves in my last fight, and since then we carried it through, and really happy with them. So yeah, we've got some sponsors, but again, this was last minute. There has been other companies that have come on looking to get involved in sponsorship and things like that, but it was just too last minute. We couldn't get ring aprons made and stuff like that in time.
Yeah.
So we just had to go with what we had and go with that. But them sponsors, without sponsorship, shows wouldn't happen. And these guys need to be thanked for what they do. It's been a great. AB Printing have sponsored all the programs on the night as well, which again, it's another token for us that people are supportive of what we're doing, and that's a big thing. I really can't thank them enough for their help and their support.
Well, listen, it's great that they're on board and that you've got the trust of all these people, and like I say, no one would be happier than us to see this turn into a massive success, whether it be just one show, whether it be just all the shows. I know that your heart and soul's gone into this, and you know, I'm really excited. I'm excited for Irish boxing. I'm excited for the young lads that are making their debuts and people who are making their comebacks. Just the whole thing. I can't wait for it. It's at the warehouse at the Red Cow. tell people where they can get some tickets if there are any left.
There's still tickets available. All the boxes have a few tickets left, but the main place to go would be just JB Promotions and Management on Instagram. If you message the page, I'll either sort out with a ticket or I will direct you to one of the boys that has whatever ticket you're looking for. And no, there's not many ringside. I think the ringside are gone. There's a handful of seating left, a couple of standing left, and the tables are all sold out.
But the Instagram page is JB Boxing Promotions. We'll put the tag on the Instagram link, but obviously this will go onto the YouTube page. But yeah, it's JB Boxing Promotions. Give it a hit up if you want to get a ticket. And I'm going to see if I can get myself a flight because I don't want to miss this.
Well, you've no excuse now, John. I want to see it over
here. Well, listen, mate, we wish you all the success, you and your team. We really appreciate the time you've given us this evening. I know you're busy. And Friday night can't come soon enough. Best of luck with it, mate. And we look forward to finding out afterwards how it all went for you.